Hey, Jeff. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, Steve, thanks for having me again.
Good to have you. We're talking about residential real estate values breaking record highs as homes become more unaffordable for most Americans. The value of residential real estate broke into a new record 52 trillion. Total value of the U.S. Housing market is 49%, almost 50% higher than pre-pandemic. It surged by 2.6 trillion over the past year. And on the back of that, we're finding that most people can no longer afford a home. Um, Researchers at ATTOM, that's a real estate research firm, found that out of 575 U.S. counties, that home prices in 99% of those areas are beyond the reach of the average income earner who makes around $71,000 a year. They defined affordability as being a typical home price today being less than 35% of somebody's annual wages. It becoming unaffordable. Well, actually, that's what the typical price is, 35%, and becomes unaffordable according to them once you have to devote more than 28% of your income. So looking at affordability is 28% or less, with the average home today priced at 35% of most people's um, average income or more than that. They're pointing to both the increase in mortgage rates and the increase in home prices is really driving this unaffordability. So your thoughts as we're seeing record highs for home prices, even though most Americans can no longer afford to buy those homes.
I think this one's a little bit more in line with cycle trends. I think this one is Main Street hasn't caught up with the side that interest rates are rising. Therefore, your house isn't worth as much. Unfortunately, most people don't know that or understand how interest rates are impact the value of your homes. They're still seeing people that are thinking people are buying at those pandemic or pre-pandemic levels, moving out of New York City and coming down to Florida, buying at exponentially high rates. And maybe some of that will occur for a little while, but I think it'll catch up soon enough, and we'll see values come down some.
Yeah, I
Or
and we
normalize is probably a better way to put it.
Yeah, and this is something we often see in real estate where there's a lag time, uh, where people don't want to drop their price and they'll just sit on it and kind of insist on a price or insist on not too big of a drop.
Right.
But what we're seeing here is the market just is not it can't support current pricing levels. Something has to change. Either banks have to allow people to put on more leverage or lower their lending standards, which doesn't seem likely. Rates need to come down. They've been going in the opposite direction. Or, as you point out, prices need to come down, and that seems to be only lever that's really likely to get pushed, and that generally takes some time. So I don't think we're calling for a residential price collapse or a repeat of 2008, but it does look like prices need to kind of come down a bit here, just to facilitate transactions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're heading towards a 2008, 2009. But I think there is some stuff that comes out of that. You probably do get some fall off from foreclosures and short sales, et cetera, just from people who have acquired too much debt because it was so cheap to get money at that time. But I think you're going to see just natural value drop off just because probably more for psychological and social reasons. Either call it divorce because people need to leave, or psychological just because they get bored with the place and where they're living, they want to go somewhere else. So I think time will tell.
Yeah, I do think though we can probably expect the trend of just lower transaction volume to continue for a while. That if people can't afford these prices and people don't want to drop prices, a lot of people are just, if they have the option, are just going to choose not to sell.
Yeah,
So I do expect that's another trend we're going to see continue for a while.
agreed.
Okay, thanks for the insights, Jeff.
Thanks, Steve.